Okay, I know I almost got y'all lost at the ending of the last segment within the episode, or the segment within the episode. But I'm glad you found your way back to the amazing 102.5 FM, where we have James Jordan in the audience with us on today. He's been a key component of a lot of our technical assistance courses with our organization, the Houston Fund for Economic. I'm getting all my words together. Y'all know which fund I'm talking about, but the Houston Equity Fund. He's been a part of that. And one of the topics that we continue to toss over to him is the art of appreciation. I know from a nonprofit lens, we understand that cold calling and all of that kind of stuff is not the way to donors' heart. And I would say even when it relates to small businesses and people wanting others to buy into their vision and all of that, we've found so much more fruitfulness and productivity and appreciation. So we've chatted a bit about that, and now we're going to kind of steamroll that a bit, because you highlighted, you said you learned some about appreciation from your parents, and they taught you to appreciate your home, your food, all things that. But I think I picked up on you saying, and also your church.
My church.
So what do
Absolutely.
you mean when you say that?
Well, the first form of leadership that I ever saw was in my house. My father was my pastor. So he pastored a church growing up. So I saw how he esteemed, number one, God and the people of God, and how that translated in his interactions every day. So the very first form of leadership that I saw was through him.
Yeah.
How he directed, how he led, how he loved, how he served. That's what I saw on a regular basis.
So I think that provides a very good foundation to overlay this concept of appreciation to. So whether you're a nonprofit leader, whether you're the business owner, whether you're just an individual who has visions, who has dreams, who has goals, and you need other people to be a part of it, then even when we consider like a pastor, when we consider a CEO, when we
Yes.
consider the founder, you can choose which posture you desire to lead in,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
And this appreciation, when you overlay that, and we define appreciation as the ability to appreciate. Well, appreciation as the ability to acknowledge, to be grateful, to engage with people with some measure of consideration and care.
Right.
Whether it shows up in your father as a pastor, shows up in you as a CEO, it shows up in me as a founder, in whatever way we can see the common thread as it relates to leadership, understanding the importance, and then moving accordingly as it relates to appreciation.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
How
yes.
would you? What could you add to that? Because some leaders, some owners, some whatever, they engage with people more transactionally and like people ought to do, versus people being appreciated and engaged with from that standpoint.
I think the key to really determining that is recognizing where leadership should start from. In my mind, it should start from service, which is almost like, what are you saying? If
Right.
you're leading, how are you serving? But
Yes.
even to take on the role of a leadership, it should come out of a need for service.
Yes.
Whether it's a service or a need or something that will require you providing something for someone.
Okay, so we got to get that nugget for our listening
Okay.
audience. You're saying whether we're a business owner, whether we are a nonprofit, or just an individual, in whatever capacity we are operating, if we're wanting others to be a part of that, then we project and lead with the service that I'm able to provide, the thing that I'm trying to do. Service then is beyond self-serving.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? That's
Yeah.
where you like it. It leads with wanting to do something that benefits others. Go ahead.
Thus comes the term servant leader.
True.
You know what I'm
True.
saying?
Yes.
And you're going to be serving, whether you're supporting and serving the people that are under you, whether you're providing a service to the people who will buy or receive from the products that you produce, or whether you are serving in the aspect of expanding vision.
Yes. It's service.
It's going to come from some level of service.
Yes.
You know.
And so then for those of you who are like, because our audience with HEF is largely people who need resources.
Yes.
What allows you then to stand out in many ways is being able to speak to how this thing that I want you to buy into, support, whatever, benefits someone else
Absolutely.
beyond me.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right.
It has to be that. Other than that, you're talking about something else then.
Yes.
If it's not going to benefit someone else, thus ultimately, expanding all over the place, it'll benefit you, the people, the employees. It's a ripple effect.
Right.
But it starts with the service mentality.
Yes.
If it does
Yes.
not start there, then we really are talking about something else.
And when I think about just that perception about it. For me, with the work that I do in the numerous businesses that we visit, it is to that I actually can now identify or tag something on, because I think about like one of our coffee businesses, and I'll just give them a shout out, Three Keys. Like, I left there feeling like their business was a service to their
Yes,
community.
yes. There's
Like,
a
I
difference.
know they
Yeah.
could have been anywhere else, and they could have been selling that product anywhere else, but they chose to be located where they are located so that their business would add value to the community in which, and I left literally feeling like I want to give more to you so that you can continue to do what you do. When we drove in, they looked like a rainbow in the middle of a desert, right?
Wow,
Because
wow.
that's what they're adding. And so that's a
Now you
tangible.
got me wanting to go
You
there.
should go and see. It's beautiful, and I hope
Yeah.
they listen. Keep your dial right there. But yeah, when you're saying that, I realize that even as somebody who has input into where funding goes, the businesses and organizations that stand out for me the most are the ones where I know that yes, they're going to make a profit. I
Yes.
want them to,
Yes.
but they could have chose to be anywhere else.
Yes.
It's one of our grantees who spoke at one of our conferences, and he talked about starting his business so that he could hire other people who had gone through the prison system because it was so hard for him to get a job. And so yes, we want him to make money with his business, but what moved us is that you're being very intentional and
Yes.
you want your business to be a
Yes.
service to someone else.
Yes.
Do you have other examples that may stand out for you so that listeners can really see what does that look like?
Well, I'm thinking of someone that I spoke to, one of the grantees that I spoke to, who had gone through a real struggle in her younger years, in terms of molestation and rape and different things like that. Out of that, and out of those traumatic experiences, she sought for a way to serve a community of people who are marginalized.
Yes.
And she decided, I'm going to create this organization. And she did. And she did it without any help of her own. She just started doing one person at a time. And it's grown to a place now where she's serving and have a lot of people serving under her. And she's serving a whole community of women that really look to her for guidance.
Yeah.
It's another level of service. But I also want to bring into this the fact that when you serve like that, it also comes from a place of appreciation for what you have received.
Yes. Yes.
It's kind of like when you've been given much,
Yes.
or you've come through much,
Yes.
a lot is required. So
Yes.
you have this appreciation for what I was able to come through, get on the other side of. Now I
Yes.
want to see other people. And then appreciation in that form also is articulated to putting things in place to make sure it is sustainable.
Yes.
All of this comes from service and appreciation.
Yes.
I would create rules to keep myself accountable and keep those who work with me accountable, so that we can continue to appreciate and serve people.
Yes. And so as we prepare to go to a break, I want us to just capture those few nuggets from you right there,
Sure.
Mr. James Jordan, James R. Jordan Jr. Yeah, this idea that in leadership is where it starts. If you really want a culture of appreciation, then for you, it was your father
Sure.
modeling that,
Yes.
expecting you all to mirror that,
Yes.
coaching you towards that.
Yes.
And I think both of us can stand in the space of being personal witnesses that appreciation, that ability to acknowledge how someone has contributed and all of those things is what has largely advanced us more than anything else in our
Absolutely.
lives, right?
Absolutely.
So we're going to
Absolutely.
come right back then to just go in a little bit deeper, specifically as it relates to appreciation and leadership. And we're going to do the reverse part where we've talked a bit about how leadership needs to model it outward. But sometimes I think when people are in leadership, and we'll be inclusive of pastors, CEOs, founders, all things, the people who are recipients can assume that everything is well and okay with them and totally skip that place of
That's right.
appreciation backwards, where it's the reciprocated thing. So y'all keep your dials right back there where they are, Amazing 102.5 FM, and we will be right back to continue this conversation on appreciation through the lens of leadership.
Yes.